Check out our sponsor, the Safe and Vault store, right now. That's the Safe and Vault store. Click the link below right now. Check out all their safes. Check out their AMSEC safes, their rifle, gun, burglar safes. Check out their Liberty biometric safe, which they sent me. It's awesome. Protect your guns. Click that link below right now. Visit our sponsor. Enter promo code Second Amendment for 10% discount on all their burglar, fire, and gun safes, as well as free shipping. That's the Safe and Vault store. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. It is July 15, 2015 on Wednesday, and we have a vote in Greece. Tsipras really has his tail between his legs because he didn't negotiate anything in the benefit of the people of Greece at all. I mean, hey, why even have a referendum? Why even vote no against the Eurozone, their austerity, the Euro, your membership in this defunct, bankrupt entity controlled by the ECB and the Troika and people like Angela Merkel? The whore, the gigantic gangbang whore that makes up Europe, if you're not even going to get a freaking write-down on your debt. There's not even a write-down on their debt. There's no write-down on the debt. The deal that's going to be voted on today, which I think they already have and are close to having a 200-plus super vote majority to approve this thing, is to basically piecemeal give the German people, which really Greece is now just a German colony. It's a colony of the ECB, around $50 billion of assets of which they're privatizing in the name of anything that actually has any value left over, like airports, key infrastructure, any last remnants of the banks that still have any value will just be given to the ECB and the Eurozone and the whore that makes up Angela Merkel in Germany. Because you see, the banks, the ECB, the Troika never take the loss. It's the people of Greece that take the loss. Again, what was the point of a freaking referendum if the only thing that was negotiated is privatizing your own assets and then giving it to really kings and queens in Europe? I mean, how was this any different from the relationship that the United States once had, or the colonies had, to Great Britain before we fought for our independence, declared revolution in 1776. I mean, it really is the same thing. Greece is a German colony. It is a colony of the ECB. In addition to that, they're supposedly going to get around $86 billion worth of debt financing that will only last another 3 years. Now, this is just math. If they don't do a debt write-down, of course they probably won't, because the banks in Europe don't want to take a loss. The ones issuing the debt to the Greek people, the people of Greece, through the consecutive bailouts, remember there's been 2 and now this is the 3rd, is only buying them 3 years. The next tranche, $86 billion, is only going to buy 3 years, kick the can down the road before we have this same problem once again. So they have to address some kind of write-down. Really, Tsipras has done nothing. He's completely and utterly failed. I don't know, he's either a bad politician, lying to his people, or maybe he just legitimately couldn't get anything done. There was a moment, at least this was kind of put out into the media, where he tried to exit and leave the room through negotiations when one of the ministers or one of those head honcho guys said, "There's no way you're going to leave this room, Mr. Tsipras, unless we get a deal done." So the markets have been rallying and cheering this kick the can down the road strategy, this $86 billion in new financing, $50 billion roughly in privatization of assets, really the only thing that the Greek people have left. They're just going to be giving piecemeal to the ECB. Again, they're no different than a colony of Germany or a colony of the ECB, kind of like America was, again, before we declared our independence and shot at the redcoats in their funny little outfits banging their drums. So it's a total and utter disgrace. And again, it solves zero problems fundamentally and structurally at the very core of the Eurozone. I've already been reading reports earlier this morning, courtesy of CNBC and a former Fed representative, that says the problem with Greece is that the ECB and the Troika were never given enough power. I've talked about this endlessly many times before. They always say the solution is give them more power. That's why they failed. That's why they get an F for essentially destroying the integrity of the Eurozone in a measly almost 16 years, established around 2001. That's always the problem. These oligarchs, these people like Angela Merkel, Mario drag queen, didn't have enough power. That's the solution. They need more centralized power now going forward to hold this together. And they always place blame on the member countries specifically. They only place blame singularly on the people of Greece, saying it's their fault that they spent too much, but never place any blame on themselves, even though it's the banks, it's the financial institutions, just like here in the United States, that have been underwriting this debt, underwriting these loans to the people of Greece, orchestrating these bailouts in the first place, kicking the can down the road that leads to collapse, that leads to disintegration, that leads to riots in the streets, the banging of drums, the monumental vote no, which we just saw a useless referendum at this point that voted no against austerity, that voted no against the Troika, the ECB, the Eurozone, the European Central Bank, etc. So this has been a total and utter failure. A total and utter disgrace. The people of Greece have officially lost. They are now officially a colony of Germany and Angela Merkel. And it will take a literal revolution to break free from these chains. I am totally and utterly surprised that the people of Greece aren't rioting in the streets right now. And Tsipras hasn't already stepped down. Yeah, he might have good intentions. Maybe he's been trying to do the right things, but he got zero accomplished. Again, the referendum was useless. They're now piecemealing and privatizing some $50 billion to these criminals, to these banksters. Again, it's never the people that get bailed out, it's always the banks. Just like here in the United States in 2008 and 2009. It's not the people that get bailed out. They don't get bailed out of their homes. They don't get their debt restructured. They don't get any of that. No, the money goes to the banks. They're the ones that get the bailouts. Jamie Dimon is the one who gets the bailouts, never the people. And the same thing is happening in Europe today. Who's getting the bailout? Who's getting the privatization of these assets? Not the people of Greece. No, the ECB, the Troika, the European Central Bank, Angela Merkel, Mario Draghi, drag queen. That's how it always works. Until and if, and only if, there is some kind of meaningful change and potentially, very potentially, highly likely, some kind of revolution, maybe starting in Greece or somewhere else in Europe, around these pigs nations, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain, all teetering on the verge of collapse. Again, the United States, no different from Greece, really just a metaphor for what's happening here in the United States of America today. Greece, the petri dish example, the United States, the big example. Same problems, same structural scam. And the answer these criminals give us is they need more power. They need more money. They need more bailouts. They need more control. I call bullshit. It's time the people of the world stand up for themselves. I'm Christopher Green. Get this video out everywhere, make it viral, hard hitting it in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.